Welcome to Parchment Update, an interview series from the Parchment Community Library to bring your community closer to you. I'm Karen Woodworth, Library Ambassador. I'm joined today by Channon Mondoux, Chief Canuck Officer of Canadiana Fest 2025, the Can-Am Peace Jam. Thank you for being here today.
I am so pleased to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is the third year for Canadiana Fest, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it for the last 2 years. What kinds of activities will you be featuring this year?
Well, we've really pulled out all the stops. Someone gave me a challenge. They said, "Oh, I got bored in the afternoon." And I said, "Oh, that's the wrong thing to tell me." So we have added so many new games and activities. We still have some of the staples, like we have the Canadian Sports Center with lacrosse, curling, basketball, and hockey, supported by WMU Athletics, sponsored by Premier Athletics, which is an area sports program. And we have a lot of local coaches coming to help do live workshops in all of those sports. Those are all Canadian sports. And that's a big part of our festival. But we added several games, including a Sasquatch challenge, where you'll be able to throw balls at a big 8-foot Sasquatch. We have a log rolling game of Doom, which I have some video out there of me absolutely ridiculously falling down, but it's so much fun. We have a children's area with tons of activities. The couple of Girl Scout troops are supporting that. We're doing tie-dye shirts. That's a ticketed activity, but also face painting and literary stories. We have a Canadian children's author coming who will be reading a bedtime story for the youth. We have some speakers coming. Dr. Daniel McFarlane will be speaking on the process between Canada and the US to kind of wrestle with the Niagara Falls, which is super exciting. We also have another game that is called How Canadian Are You? And it's a really fun trivia game with Kalamazoo Game Show, which is a local company. And so there'll be a mic and an MC, and you'll get to answer quiz questions and win prizes. So that's super exciting. And then we have, for just general activity, we have cornhole games that are designed for the festival specifically. Those will be going on all day long. So there will not be a moment of time where you will not have something that you can do when you get to this festival. And those are just the fun games, not everything else.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like something for everyone, and so exciting. And I think it'll be a great day. And I know that food is also something very important to people. And so please tell us about butter tarts and poutine.
So those are two iconic Canadian foods. Butter tarts were probably invented somewhere around the mid 1800s, maybe late 1800s, in terms of an actual recipe. It is similar to a pecan pie in a lot of ways. The major difference being that it's a tart, not a pie, and it traditionally would include something like vinegar, and would originally be made with maple syrup. So something that would have come out of maybe early settlers using what they had to replicate recipes that they were familiar with. It's delicious. We jokingly call it Canadian crack, because once you've had it, you cannot, you'll yearn for it forever. And then poutine, well, that's taken off even in the United States. It's become quite a phenomenon. And the original poutine, or poutine, as you would say in English, was invented in Victoriaville, Quebec, by a gentleman who was a restaurateur. And one of his guests said, "Hey, I would like you to add some gravy, or excuse me, add some cheese curds to my gravy and fries." Gravy and fries are very, very typical across all of Canada. And he looked at him, he said, "C'est une poutine," which means that's a mess. And the guy was like, "I don't care, that's what I want." So he made it for him, and it became a famous dish in Quebec. And then it became spread, and that was in the 50s. And now we are here in 2025, and there's every version you can imagine. So we host the World Champion Poutine Competition. And we have 5, possibly 6 competitors who will be vying for the Golden Gravy Ladle trophy, which actually, would you like to see it?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. Bear with me for one moment. I have it right here. I was just polishing it up. And this is the official golden gravy ladle. You can see the gravy ladle down here at the bottom. I'll bring it a little bit closer.
Oh,
And,
that's great.
and at the top, and I made this. This is my creation. You have no idea what I went through to create this. And at the top, we have Polly Poutine, who is our mascot for our poutine competition. And they are a dancing bowl of poutine because, of course, you must have a dancing bowl of poutine. Um, and then, of course, there are many other prizes to be won by the competitors, everything from most traditional to most creative, judge's choice for second, third place. And there's a populace vote. So if you go to the festival, you actually have the opportunity via QR code to vote for your favorite poutine. So you have an influence on who ends up winning that particular accolade of being the most popular poutine at the World Champion Poutine competition. So it's super fun.
Yeah, what a yummy competition to have. And everybody makes it with just a little bit of difference. So there really is something to compete about.
Tons of variations on the theme. I mean, we have everything from a Brazilian poutine to a traditional Saint Hubert poutine, which is a French Canadian city in the way they make it. We have one made with venison. We have one that I believe has steak on it. I mean, you just got to come and try them. I mean, there's just nothing else you can say. It's French fries, gravy of some sort or a sauce, and cheese curds of some sort, and then whatever else they decide to put on top. Super delicious.
Okay. And I believe you have some music at the festival as well.
Oh boy, howdy, do we have some music at the festival. We have packed that day with as much cultural expression from Canada as we could. We start off with a parade led by the Kalamazoo Pipe Band, Scottish pipe band, that brings us up to the stage. And on stage are the Woodland Stream Drum and Song Group led by Owen Sabata, who is a local member of the Nottawa Huron band of the Potawatomi. I'm sorry, Nottawasepi Huron band of the Potawatomi. And then also we have two more Indigenous performers, Monty Faith, who is a multi-instrumentalist who will be singing the AIM honor song. And then Deanna Bush, who is also a professor at Western Michigan University. She happens to be Cherokee. And she will be performing, doing hand drum and also Native American flute, which is beautiful if you've never heard it before. It's very ethereal. That's just the beginning. And then we have a group that will be playing. This is so exciting for me. A country and Western artist, actually country and folk artist by the name of Stomp and Tom Connors. And for those of you who don't know who Stomp and Tom is, if you've ever gone to a hockey game and you've heard them sing the hockey song, that's Stompin' Tom. And he passed away a few years ago, I think 2013. He was born in Prince Edward Island, but raised in Tilbury, Ontario, which I have been to on many occasions, hung out with a bunch of farm people out there in my younger days. And he had an iconic way of playing and singing. He would stomp on a board to the point that they had to put plywood under him because he would stomp right through the stage. And so he became known as Stomp Tom Connors. And the group that's doing his music is John Lewis Good and the Rose City Troubadours. And I just can't tell you, I mean, they're from Ann Arbor and around areas around Michigan, how heartwarming it was to have John Lewis Good reach out to me last year and say, hey, I love Stomp Tom Connors music. I've been playing it for years. As a matter of fact, I even took my wife on our honeymoon to Tilbury to his gravesite. That was their honeymoon trip. And it's so just heartwarming because this is really in the fabric of Canadian art and culture, and our folk heroes are our musicians because they sing truly about Canadian experiences. And this is something you don't want to miss. You absolutely don't want to miss it. That's number two. Number three, actually, I don't know which one would be numbers one, two, or three, but we have a band coming all the way from Quebec named Cecilia, and they will be playing traditional Acadian, Quebecois, Irish folk music. And not only that, this trio is just phenomenal musicians, but Aaron Leahy, who is the keyboardist, will be doing a traditional Acadian step dance workshop from 4:30 until 5:15. And so anybody who wants to come up and dance with them when they play could get a chance to actually be instructed by a very knowledgeable and skilled Ottawa step dancer. And then you can come up and like dance a jig with the band. I mean, how cool is that? Where do you get that experience, right?
Right. That's so wonderful. Yeah. And so, what I'm hearing is that this is really an active festival that, people get to really have these experiences. So it's not just sit around and watch things, you
Yes.
participate in
Yes.
things.
That's what we want. The purpose of this festival is to engage, interact, to have experiences that you may never have had before, because when you have those experiences, it changes how you see the world. It changes how you see other people, and it opens your mind. There's a saying by Oliver Wendell Holmes, and it goes like this: a mind once stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions. And right now, in our current world, we need to have those boundaries pushed open. We need to start looking at our lives and our world and our community in a better way. And so the goal has always been of this festival to engage with people, to make change, to give people an opportunity to joyfully interact with each other, so that when they walk away from this, they see me again, or they see any of those people or hear that music, they're going to feel very differently about it. And we had one person in our first year who responded to our survey. We do a survey every year. We ask people, what would you like to see different? Or what did you love? And this person said, and this is very important, they said, I never knew that Indigenous song and music was actually sacred, that they did not understand that when they heard that drum and they heard the singing, that those were prayers to the creator. They didn't know that. And so now, forever and a day, they will always have a better appreciation of what is happening when they hear that music. It isn't just, you think back to the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, when there were these really humiliating portrayals of Native American, or I would say Indigenous peoples' music and song. And it's heartbreaking to think about that, being someone whose heritage is Native or First Nations. In Canada, that's what we call our First Nations people. It's heartbreaking to think that that was really portrayed that way. But anyway, moving on. We are here to make change. So we've covered 1, 2, and 3. So Kalamazoo Pipe Band. I'm sorry, I've lost track. That's how many bands we have. Oh my goodness. We have Rock RX, who is doing an amazing job at recreating Canadian iconic rock and roll music. I mean, they have blown the doors off our festival last year. They were not the closing act, and this year we've chosen them as a closing act because they are just so exciting, and they do such an amazing job that we just can't even begin to thank them enough for the effort they've put in. And I mean, they're doing everything from Rush to Avril Lavigne to they're doing some Nickelback, even, which some people kind of argue with about that. But there's so many bands that they're doing, so you have to come out and hear them. So that's just the music.
Well, it's a lot, but it's a lot of great stuff. And so let's talk a little bit about date and time. This is Saturday, September 20th. Remind us of starting and ending times.
The starting time is 3:30, gates open, 4 o'clock the parade starts, and then we go straight to about 10:15 till the band is over. We sing "O Canada," we say "see you later, come on back next year." And there's one thing I want to mention, is that we have a ton of cultural villages this year that we we've tried to build on, and it's taken 3 years to get there, but we have history. We have somebody from the St. Joe archaeological dig from WMU coming. We have historical reenactors. We have Scottish, French, French Canadian, Native American groups that are coming to present the information about their relationship to Canada. So don't forget that, because that's an incredibly educational and important aspect of the event.
Right, and that sounds so interesting. All right, and this is at Arcadia Creek Festival Place. How can people get tickets?
They can get tickets by going to gopassage.com and just searching for Canadiana Fest. They can also just, if you put in to a Google search Canadiana Fest tickets, it'll take you either to our website, which is canadianafest.fun. That's Canadiana, which is Canadian with an A on the end. Get it? A. It's actually just an A, but fest.fun, or they can just go straight to the ticket site, which is Go Passage, and they can get their tickets there. And it's super important that they get their tickets. Even though the tickets are free, we require a ticket to get in. And we've incentivized people by offering them a couple of really cool prizes. One of them is they can win a private cruise on Lake Michigan by Fresh Coast Sailing on a beautiful sailboat called the Mary Rose. And the other prize they can win is a year-long yard program by Pest Pros of Michigan, which is a flea, tick, and mosquito program for your yard. And we all know how bad those have been this year. It's been absolutely crazy. And I cannot close out this interview without thanking our sponsors. Canadian National Railway is our title sponsor for the second year in a row. They have been incredibly generous. Without them, I can honestly tell you right now, this festival would not be happening. It just would not be happening. They have invested in what we're trying to do by helping the community. And they've already told me they want to get in for next year. So that gives me a lot of hope for the progress and growth of this festival. And secondly, our third year sponsor, Clearly Canadian rather, which is a sparkling beverage originating in Canada, still made in Canada. And they donate a tremendous amount of product to us that we sell. And that money goes to food banks. We have 3 food banks this year. We have Loaves and Fishes. We have the South Michigan Food Bank. And this year we're adding the Downtown Windsor Community Collaborative, which does a lot of amazing programs in my own hometown of Windsor, Ontario. And also part of that product from Clearly Canadian is being used in our non-alcoholic cocktails that we're creating. We have 3 of them. And one of them, the profits from that will go directly to a fire relief fund in Canada. So this festival doesn't just give you all those good feels because you're having fun. It gives you good feels because we really are doing good for the community. And I think everyone can come out and support this. I don't care what your flavor of politics are or belief in anything, really, race, religion, ethnicity, any of that stuff. That is absolutely irrelevant here. We wipe the slate clean. We have an inclusive event. We offer sign language interpretation on our stage events and also some of our other activities. We have QR code audio recordings for people who are sight impaired. And we also promote people who have mobility issues to come. This year, I've ordered some extra chairs. So we're happy to try and help people who have an assistant or somebody with them to be able to sit up front in front of the stage. And we're doing our best to grow and help our community and be responsive. So I hope that sounds like a lot of fun for people.
I think it does. And I really appreciate your attentiveness to details like that and really making it inclusive. And I thought of another question because, I've been to a lot of festivals at Arcadia Creek Festival Place, but last year the entrance was in a different place and it took me a while to figure out where it was. So, where do we want to
Yeah.
come to enter the festival this year?
There's 2 entrances actually. There's one on Edward Street and there's one on Eleanor Street. So the traditional entrance has been that bridge, but there have been some concerns about it. Now, my understanding is they've repaired it, but we decided to just keep it at the 2 entrances. It gets to be really hard to man 3 places. although as I said, the festival's free, we still need everybody to reserve their tickets. And the other reason for that is we need to be prepared. I can tell you right now, we have record number of people have responded and reserved their tickets. And it's potential that we may have to turn people away. I'm not even kidding. I'm blown away by this right now. And we just had, and this is something that I kind of teased you about, we just had some exciting news about some celebrities that are coming to the festival. And to give you a little bit of insight, my hometown, Windsor, Ontario, has a very long and storied history of professional wrestling. And I grew up in Windsor. My Pepe would take our family to the Windsor Arena to see the likes of famous wrestlers like Dick the Bruiser, Bobo Brazil, the Sheik. I mean, it just goes on. And that's from early childhood. And we have some special guests that are pro wrestlers, Hall of Famers, who are coming to the festival this year. I will not tell you who yet, but it's going to be fun. And they're going to do some exhibition stuff in one of our games. So, I mean, you cannot get this experience. I have people in Canada calling me and saying, why aren't you doing this in Canada? This would be amazing here. And I'm like, come here, come meet us, come see us here. And it's pretty fun.
Well, that's great. And a little bit of suspense there. I can hardly wait. Well, before we wrap up today, what final thoughts would you like to share?
You know, I just want to tell everyone that this is really a love letter from myself and all of the people involved in our festival. And remember, most of them are not Canadian, but they see what we're doing. They feel the intent of this festival, and they find that it is worthy enough that they invest their time and energy, sometimes money. We're incredibly grateful to our sponsors. Without them, this wouldn't happen. You can't make a free festival happen without somebody coughing up some cash, right? I've been doing this for 3 years, and I'm incredibly grateful for every single time. And I just want to welcome every person in our community to come out. You see me, please say hello. I'll do my best to answer. I might be running around like a chicken with my head cut off, but you know, I just want to get to know people. If you see me in the community, please come out and see me. I'll be at the Scottish Festival this weekend with a booth. Um, we really just want to connect with all of our community, all of our brothers and sisters, and remember that a community is not closed just because we live in the state of Michigan, in the country of the United States. You have to keep in mind that the Canadian diaspora has been really blended and woven into the fabric of the United States for centuries. There are people who you ask them, where did your grandparents come from? Well, they're Irish, but where did they come from? Canada. You ask people in Louisiana, where does your family originate from? Guess what? They were Acadians who went down there in the 1800s. I have a whole branch of my family down there, the Arsenaults. And I have relatives across the entire United States that are related to me because a great deal of my family are French Canadian. And we come from a small pool of people. So when you get critical about other places and other people, you need to remember that there's a very high likelihood that they have some familial connection, if not cultural or friend connection, to the Canadian people. And with that, I would just say, I love my homeland here. I love being in the United States. I am a dual citizen. I invested in this country, and I've never missed a single election since I became a citizen here. And I want this place to be better because all of us are better, not just some, all of us. And so that's part of what this festival is all about.
All right. Well, once again, the Canadiana Festival will be Saturday, September 20th. Doors open at 3:30, goes till around 10 o'clock or 10:15 at Arcadia Creek Festival Place. Thank you so much, Shannon, for taking the time today to give us the details.
Thank you. Peace out, everybody.
I'm thrilled to welcome